Hello, my fellow listeners. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nerd. Today, we will be talking about a D&D story that I am currently DMing with 5 friends and my girlfriend. I'm sort of new to D&D. I started playing it 5-ish years ago, but I barely played it until 2022. That is when I played a game with my girlfriend's mom as a DM. We had 2 campaigns. One where I was a high elf ranger, and one where I was a changeling bard. I'll talk about that story a different time, though. I played in so many campaigns throughout the years, and I watched a lot of YouTube series like Fool's Gold and Monster of the Week. And I wanted to try to be a DM myself. So, this story I'm going to tell is the second time I've ever be DM'd so far, and it is chaotic. Let's start off with what the environment is, what the setting is for the campaign. So, it's a homebrew campaign I made. It is about you are in a steampunk city. It's like huge. There's I want to say around the size of Texas. That's how big the city is. That's what I want to say. And there are 3 areas. Now, this may sound familiar to you fellow nerds. There's the rich area, which they call Topside, but it's also known as Taran, which is where magic usually happens, all the rich stuff, rich people, all that kind of stuff. There is the poor part of town, where it's drugs, uh, crime, murder, mafias. It's so frequent there, and even the air is so toxic. If you know where this is from, you're awesome. And most civilians that don't live in that part of town has to wear a mask to breathe because the air is that toxic. And then there's the middle part, which is just there. It's a mix of both Deathfall and Taran. Taran, the rich part, is magic, while for wizards and sorcerers and stuff like that. While Deathfall, the poor part, it's mostly mechanical, so artificers, uh, mechanics, stuff like that. So, and in this campaign, the top side and the bottom side are at war against each other, and they hate each other. They're trying to sabotage each other all the time, all that stuff. So that's when the players come in. They come from any part of the city. I let them choose, as and they all some of them are top side, some of them are middle side, some of them are all the way at the bottom. They all go to Deathfall for some apparent reason, and they join a mafia group. So let's get into the players. I'm not gonna say any of my players' names, just their characters' names. So first we have one of my friends as a fire genocide artificer. Let me pull up any notes. He is named Arson, and this is the first time he's ever played D&D. He lives in the middle part, which is known as Forge. So what his character looks like is he has a combo of bright red and coal black fiery red hair, faintly smells of brimstone, can sound like fire, bright red eyes, charred ends of clothing. So, of fire genocide. Duh. Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything about his uh, backstory until it comes up later on. Then we have another new player. His name is Juan Fishrin. He is a Logith. I don't know how to say the word. It's like a fish bard. He is. He gave me big backstory, so I'm not even going to get into it. Pretty much, he's always. How he describes himself is he's always wet. All the time. Because he's a fish. And he's a bard. And let me tell you, in the future, he's able to do he did some crazy, stupid stuff that a bard should not do. Anyways, next is my girlfriend. She played as a Minotaur monk named Mabel Mills. And, I forgot to say, Juan Fishrin, he lived in the Taran area, the Taran district. Mabel Mills is a monk who lived in Taran district as well and was kicked out from her family pretty much. And now she is in Deathfall, where she joined the mafia. But she does not like violence. She tries to solve everything peacefully, I guess, is what you can say. Then we have our skeleton sorcerer. No, skeleton wizard, Nito. And he was resurrected hundreds of years ago from a necromancer, and he used to be a all-powerful wizard. And he lived before the town, which is Rigsworth, was even a thought. Then we have our skeleton rogue, Skelebone Jones. He used to work as a mafia member, the same mafia that they're working for right now, and they were like, "Hey, this guy's really good. We are going to resurrect him from the dead because why not?" And now he still works for them as a rogue this time. And now we have our final player, Tingus Bingus, a warforged fighter who I'm gonna tell you the backstory he gave me. Alive, sort of. That's all. So I have no idea what his character is. Just a warforged fighter. Interesting, but wow. Okay, so we got all that out of the way. Let's talk about the first session. The session started off as they enter a door leading into a tavern. The air reeks of oil, ale, and steam. Tavern's lively, sounds of laughter, sounds of shouting, bards playing, all that. And they feel like a buzz in their pocket or in their bag. They pull it out, and it's a metal disc with a blue and green crystal inside of it. The device creates a moving image, like a hologram, of a round but broad-headed snake creature. Sorry, guys. The creature says, Remember what your objective is. Bring Big Tim here alive. He owes us. It disappears with the picture of a black human with short black hair, a prosthetic metal eye, scars lined up with his mouth, and a golden earpiece. And right underneath that picture projects "Wanted Alive." So they try to do some this. They try to snoop around the tavern to find this Big Tim, and the Fire Gensai Arson decides, hey, I'm a Fire Gensai. I don't get drunk that easily, because that's what I said. And he challenges Big Tim to a drinking contest. After he wins, Big Tim decides to talk to them, and they were like, yeah, we need to bring you in. Someone wants you. He's like, nuh-uh, I don't like that. So, he stands up from his seat, and so does a orc, 3 humans, and 4 goblins stand up as well. They start to surround the party, each of them holding some kind of weapon, pissed off. Before they know it, all of a sudden a hand axe is thrown, striking one of the humans right in the neck, and from behind them, a Leonin shouts, get the fuck out of here, while fighting off a few of the guys. So they start getting out of the door when behind the party they see 2 goblins, a human, and Big Tim heading towards them. And they did not do what I planned. As in, I had to go to plan like D. Not even plan B, not plan C. I had to go to plan D. 'Cause when they get out, they see they see a car. And instead of being like, okay, let's drive off, they were like, let's hide in the bushes and ambush them. They hid. And all of a sudden, they see a giant armored car and 2 motorcycles curve around the corner and start shooting at their direction. Of course, none of bullets hit them. So they were like, oh, okay, that is probably Big Tim. Let's go chase them. The original plan is that they got into the car and they start driving away. And then the whole group starts to chase behind them, because how made their car is that there's a turret on top that's facing backwards. But now, since they did not do that, they cannot use the turret. It was hilarious to see this happen. Okay, what pretty much happened is that they started chasing the car. They couldn't do that much against it. All of a sudden, the 2 motorcycles drive away, and they turn and they come behind their car. And the turret, it's only able to turn 90 degrees each direction, cannot move down, but can move up. So they were trying to shoot at the goblins. They missed, and goblins got close enough to the car where the turret can't hit them anymore. So they tried to shoot at them and stuff, and Skellabone Jones, the skeleton rogue, decides to jump on one of the motorcycles and proceeds to throw the guy off and take the motorcycle for himself. And then the one Fishron, the bard, decides to use vicious mockery on the goblin and tells the goblin to jump off. Rolls very high, almost a nat 20, I believe, or maybe it was. And the goblin's like, I will jump off. Jumped off, crashed a motorcycle, and then they went to go get Big Tim in the armored vehicle, and they were able to get him where Big Tim got out of the car, ran into the alley, and the party had a giant fishnet in a car and threw at him, and they captured him. Let's just say I need to work on car fights if I want to do that again. So they capture Big Tim, and they proceed to drive more down to where they have to drop him off at the headquarters. They drive down and they see a building towering a block. Gears and wires and engines wrapped around like a snake. Black smoke emitting from pipes, and the metal on the building seems to be rusting, and some parts seem to be peeling off. Dirty windows on each floor covered in cracks or muck. They reach their headquarters, and they know that they reach the headquarters of the Magano family, the mafia family, their crime family. And that's the name of the campaign, the crime family. They get closer to the building, they see two Warforged, two Yentai, or Yinti, I don't know how to say it, and a Hexblade waiting for them. They park, the Yinti grab Big Tim and carry him away. The Warforged gets into the vehicle and the two Warforged drives the vehicle away, and the Hexblood proceeds to lead them inside. And when they head inside, they are surrounded by factory equipment all around them. Machines are being made similar to the cars, and they're dangling from the ceiling, being reworked. New weapons are being forged. There are even a couple instances when they see creatures being mashed together with machines. As they go further into the factory, machines seem to be getting bigger, deadlier, and they seem to notice a new Warforged being created, but it looks different than what they are used to seeing. The Hexblood leads them to a detailed door covered in pictures of unities, snakes, serpents, and pictures of strong leaders. Oh wait, no, I'm too ahead. They see a fancy door covered in carvings of snakes and serpents. When they enter the door, then they see the room is covered with pictures of Yinti, snakes, serpents, and pictures of strong leaders, including Big Tim. And that is when they meet one of their bosses. It speaks to him. They speak to them, complimenting them on the first heist. The Yinti they see is a green, scaly Yinti with dark green stripes, red eyes, and a broad and rounded head. Talks to them, asking them if they want any beverages. He comes back to continue talking about trying to think how to say this. So after he gets himself a drink, because everyone else refused a drink, he was telling them why he wanted to see them, and he is telling them that the big boss has some errands for them, because the top side hates them, like the Death Fallers. They treat them like shit, especially their mafia group. So they give the party a map of Deathfall, and they point to a warehouse, and they say, go here. I have an assignment for you. I need you to get information from top. I need you to sneak into Topside, get us information. Do it as soon as possible. And when you get to a warehouse, tell the guy there, Big Brother is watching, he will not kill you. And then, so they were like, okay. And they immediately left. Thank God. They go down the street. They start walking down the street because they don't have the car anymore. And while doing that, they see some guards that are not from that area. What they see is two heavy guards with armor made of black and reddish metal. They are wearing masks covering only their nose and mouth. They are holding a spear and a rifle. And what they seem to be wearing is very rich material. In their holsters, they see small devices. They can't really tell what it is. They see a fancy radio and a holographic device. All of a sudden, a child bumps into one of the guards, and without hesitation, the guard pushes the child to the ground, yelling at the child to watch where he's going, you Deathfaller, and decides to walk away. Now my party decides, fuck that, we're doing something about that. So they confront the guards. As level 1 players. And they knew that they couldn't take them on, so they were just talking shit. And my rogue looked up at me and said, "Can I sneak behind them and tie their shoes together?" And I'm like, "You know what? Roll for stealth." A fucking nat 20. He rolled a nat 20 to sneak behind them, tie their shoes together. Oh my god. And when they did that, they stopped talking to the guards. And the guards start to walk away. And after one step, they fall face first. And the players start laughing so hard at them, and the guards are just embarrassed and walk away. A few minutes later, they see a riot in the middle of the street, and they see in the front of the riot is up to 8 guards with what they assume to be the head guard, I guess you can say, or the leader of that group. Angry citizens are yelling at them, being like, "Go back to Topside, you pricks! You don't belong here! Rot in hell!" Getting all angry and stuff. When all of a sudden, a glass bottle full of alcohol gets thrown at the officer in the face. He collapses on the floor, stands up, points to the ground, and as he does so, the guards fire once. The crowd disperses, and all is left are the guards' bullet shells sitting in front of them, and they see 4 bodies lying on the ground, bleeding. The party runs to the injured. They were able to save 3 of them. Luckily, they almost lost one of the 3. But when they got to the 4th one, they see that the 4th guy was killed instantly, without remorse, without struggle, just dead. And the party was about to kill them, about to kill the guards until my girlfriend says, "Guys, let's just leave them alone." So they leave and continue heading to the warehouse. Alright, now they get to the warehouse. And they see the warehouse looks very old, metal, almost completely rusted, and a sign in front consists of AES with missing letters in between. The road is just dirt with some recent tire marks, and when they make their way inside, they can see like a couch, table, kitchen utensils, everything in a modern house. Then all of a sudden, they just hear a pump shotgun reloading, and when they turn around, they see a jacked old man with a scar from forehead to chin going down his face. His arms are replaced with metallic replacements. They look really brand new. They tell them Big Brother is watching, and and then the old man is like, "Oh, you work for the Mangano family. Welcome. My name is Jenkins. Old Man Jenkins." So they lead him inside. They lead them inside, and they see all this beautiful stuff inside, and he explains how it's been a while since they last got guests that I didn't murder. And they led them to the back of the warehouse where a younger Jenkins, the Yuntai from before Astro, and Big Tim, and one other human with a metallic arm replacement is standing right next to each other. This is Jenkins moves the picture a little bit to his side, revealing the panel, and while pressing it, he covers it so they cannot see it. And as he finishes, the wall it flips, leading to a big glass tube with bright red lights, going all the way down. So he explains, "Follow me. Don't worry. I don't bite. Not anymore." And they get into the elevator, and the glass tube shuts close and starts to fall really fast. And then it starts to slow down the falling as it gets closer to what they think is a large laboratory with machines and inventions they've never seen before. There are machines that are taller than the warehouse itself. There are different types of machines, from transports to weapons to a 25 feet metal fork with cannons on each tooth of the fork. Yes, a giant fork. They get to the bottom and they get out. Jenkins leads them back to the very back of the lab where there are 6 bags, and he explains, "Hey, this is the equipment you need to get into topside. Use it well, don't get caught. Because if you get caught, you don't have. It's not only going to be the topsiders you have to worry about." So he shows them the backpacks, and inside they see 10 feet rope, a gun with a grapple on the top, 2 smoke bombs, a flashlight, topsider clothes, and Jenkins says, "Now that's not all. Proceed to go to the next table." Finishes tweaking some machines and gives them cameras. And he explains each camera has 3 captures you can take. Be careful and precise with each one. Any information is important. Grab your bags and we'll leave. So, after a little bit of talking to Jenkins, they decide to follow him, and he leads them to even further back into the lab, where he opens up a door with 2 fancy looking cars. They don't even have wheels, they're kind of hovering, sitting there. He says, "Go ahead, sit inside, they'll take you to your destination, and you'll have to come back the hard way, because the cars will leave you." They did not know that. I made that up. So, the party enters the car, and the platform rotates 180 degrees with an announcement saying, "Launch is happening in 5. Cars start making a roaring noise. 4. Hatch opens 10 feet in front of them. 3. Ramp forms to the opening. 2. Red lights start trimming the wall, blinking on and off. 1. The car proceeds to launch itself out of the room and drives fast." And that is where they left off with the first session. Some of the lore of the area, and they get even more craziness for the second. This was the first of many sessions. It gets so much more crazier, and so far, my party has only done 3 sessions. We plan to do many more, so if you want more crazy D&D stories, please stay tuned and have a great rest of your day or night. Bye-bye!